The gender of the child is determined by the man. The woman has an X. So if you bring a Y, you have an XY, which becomes a boy. If you bring an X, it becomes an XX, which becomes a girl. So it is not your wife that is giving birth to only girls. It is you that is providing only female chromosomes for your wife to bring out.
People are having issues in their homes and they can't parent, but they can't do anything because communication, which is the blood, is not anemic. Let us know what goes on between the two of us.
Turn around. Turning point. Yeah. He's a turn around. Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Okran, welcoming you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Rocher Foundation in partnership with NTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, the Multimedia Group, and the Graphic Communications Group. Today's conversation is about the family under threat. Is it under threat anyway? Is that your opinion? If it is, what are the things that are threatening the family and how can we recapture God's original intent for the family? My guests for today will help me unravel the temperature, the pressure level of the family. So Reverend Dr. Kisseadoo, Samuel Kisseadoo is a family life educator, Christian counselor, author, and the president and founder of Fruitful Ministries International. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you too.
Thanks for making time. It's a blessing, sir.
It's my pleasure.
We also have Lynda Dede Ahulu, who's a licensed clinical psychologist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Lynda, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful.
Great.
Let's start with the state of the family. Would you say that the family is under threat? And if so, what exactly is pulling at the strength of the family?
If you look at the formation of man in Genesis 1:26, God said, "Let us make man." So the making of man was in the spirit of unity. So that's how we were made. So if a person is not someone who aims at and works towards unity, you're not being the normal human being God intended to be. Individualism and selfishness, I, instead of us, we, is eating up society. And that is encouraging competition between husband and wife, competition with parents. Parents who are not happy the child is building, I couldn't build, and all that. And it's making us travel for green grass, but someone has to mow the grass, fertilize, water it. So we go to places. In the US, for example, I've taught on 14 different campuses for a couple of years. And all white, all black mixture. But the principle I have is what is right, not who is right. It makes me go everywhere. Well, when I was teaching at Chobra Secondary School in Kumawu, some of the things students did to me, I wouldn't say the whites did. Students are students. And if this mind is there and the family is understood without redefinition of marriage, that is where the problem begins.
So let's
So the
start
family is
probably
being
with
threatened with
let's-
redefinition.
let's start probably with what exactly is the family supposed to be. Then we can look at if those fundamentals are being threatened. What is the ideal family supposed to be like?
The ideal family is supposed to be a family running its activities with God's spirit and God's word and God's direction, because He is the managing director. He has an idea why He created the family, to the point that He needed a family setting before coming, needed a husband and wife situation. And when He had to run away to Egypt, the parents took Jesus there. The beginnings of Jesus was in Africa, in Egypt. So the family is the unit through which other human beings come. This was, I was looking at Genesis 29, verse 21. When Jacob, who became Israel, where God came finally to save us, wanted Rachel. He didn't say, I'm going to marry him. You have served 7 years. Give me Rachel. I want to go in onto her. I said, wow. I want to make love. So marriage is a sexual relationship. So what the enemy has done is to cause an explosion in that area because of lack of proper parenting and good sex education. Marriage is a sexual relationship to the point that God looked for a virgin to bring Christ. But after that, Joseph had to have sex with Mary before the brothers and sisters were born. So if sex education is not taught by the family, and the husband and wife didn't properly handle their sex life, then the strongest passion in the body, which is sex, is in trouble. And the family is threatened from its foundation of sexuality, individualism, selfishness, and lack of togetherness. We are scattering families to bring us together to the point that when we were building the wall, even in Nehemiah, families came together.
So your submission is that the family is under threat on
Yes,
all fronts
on all fronts.
and threatening to implode.
Yes.
Let's hold it there and come to you, Lynda. From the clinical or from the psychological point of view, what should be our areas of interest?
Well, so firstly, I am particularly excited about the topic because the family is a very significant unit when it comes to society. And the family has the propensity to impact individual members of the family as well as society. So if you want to see how society if society is we are living in a healthy society or otherwise, look at the family unit. First of all, a family is a group of people who are connected to each other. It could be by marriage, by birth, by adoption. There are different kinds of families. We are very much used to the nuclear family system where we have a mother, a father, and their children. Currently, people add on house helps and their pets as well as a unit. And then we have the extended family, which also involves other nuclear families coming together. We have aunties, we have uncles, grandparents, among that. Because of the nature of society, there are also other forms of families. We have single families, single parenting families, where for some reason there's no mother or there's no father in the home. We have families that are blended. People came in with children. We have steps, we have half siblings, and the dynamics that play within the family system is likely able to influence individual members of the family and the family as a unit. So yes, indeed, the family is under threat, but the onus is on each individual member of the family to know what their particular role is and where they come in to curb the situation or the stressful situation within the family. Let's start from the onset.
So let me take you back one step before we even begin to give direction, prescriptions, solutions. What are the symptoms of a family that would make you even suggest that a family is under threat?
There are many. There are many. When you look at a family system, so let's focus on, let's say, a nuclear family system. There's when the family is under threat, usually there's a problem with communication. Communication between parents, communication between children. So if you are the kind of father that comes home and all your children run away, there's a problem in the house. Because when children do not feel that their parents are a safe haven for them to trust, for them to be able to tell when they are going through anything, parents have already failed. Because there's so many things that are happening at the blind side of parents. There was a recent study where a church group tried to get its young people to tell their teachers something their parents do not know about them. It was disheartening. Children who had been sexually assaulted, children who had started substance abuse, among others, peer pressure, bullying, and the parents had absolutely no idea. I ask parents when I have an opportunity to discuss with them, I ask them, especially the males. I asked, do you remember the first time, did your son tell you when he had his first wet dream? Many parents have absolutely no idea.
Why?
The children are not comfortable to talk to their parents. So they talk to their friends, and the home is not a safe haven for them.
Why?
Because the parents are not available.
Why?
They are either at work. Yes, they are either at work or they are on their phones currently. I mean, currently, parents, you can go out and it's a family outing and everybody's on their phone. Daddy is on his phone. Mommy is on the phone. And they will give the phone, the iPad, whatever it is to the child, as long as the child leaves them to have their peace of mind. We currently have a condition called the gamer's neck, where children are stuck in this particular mood. Their neck is stiff. They are not able to move, among other things. And you see children also having tantrums. As soon as you take the phone from the child, she's all over the floor, jumping, shouting, and it doesn't matter where they are. So the family is losing its significant role in the lives of the individual, especially the children. A parent is the child's role model. If you are not able to serve as the modeling, we call it vicarious learning. Children model their parents or the people, significant people in society. What is this person doing right? What are the consequences? Is it helping the person? Okay, then if it is, let me learn. So if you are not a good role model to your child, the consequences will be clear.
I'm laughing because of an incident that happened on a plane in the US, traveling from one state to another, and this guy is playing the game, and the air hostess are saying, "You're about to land. Please put off all devices."
No
the guy
way.
says, "You don't understand. You can't stop a battle in the middle."
Yeah. No way.
They say, "Please, our lives are at risk. Please, look." They had to go and call senior. The guy was trying to explain to them this is a battle, and he's at the very critical part of the battle. The battle must end. We must see who won.
Yes.
I was like, wow. It took a long time to get the guy to agree, very reluctantly, to put on the game, because he says you don't stop a battle.
Did he eventually agree anyway? Because it must...
it was almost like worst.
Yeah.
How did we get here? How did we get to the place where the family that you say is God's idea that was put together so beautifully is at the place where it's probably almost not recognizable from what it was intended to be? How did we get here, and why don't we see it?
See, in life, most people never see themselves drifting. You see yourself drifted.
Yeah.
So the fear of God will always be the beginning of wisdom. Wisdom is knowing what to do, how to use knowledge. Knowledge is getting the facts. So people are listening right now, getting the facts. But how do you use the knowledge to solve problems is wisdom. How do you see things the way God sees them? Application of truth to experience. Then understanding is how do you interpret the results according to the facts? So because of the lack of knowledge, my people perish. They are perishing because the wisdom we need from God and from adults we have neglected. Too many distractions. In the Bible it says, put on the armor of God that you can stand against the wiles. I always thought wiles, that's Ephesians 6:10. Oh, the devil's attacks. I was surprised when I analyzed wiles and I found out wiles is deception, distraction, and it's obsession, and this disarming. Can be disarmed. You have the weapon, but you have been disarmed. And throughout history, when nations have fallen, it's the morals and societies. It begins with the families. So the enemy's plan is to attack the family, to destroy the communities that form the nation. So we are distracted, we are seduced, we are deceived, and we are disarmed. And he set up the church to be the organ through which he works to reform the world, to transform the world, and to do his purposes. In the past, a prophet could go to the king to tell the king, this is right, this is wrong. So when the world creeps in, And church allows the world, because what you use to win them, you must use to feed them in order to keep them. The music you use, the methods you use, if you don't use that, the people don't stay. So the world creeps in to keep them. It becomes commercialization and all that. So our minds have become carnal. So the knowledge of the Creator for the marriage has been thrown through the window. And we are using human ideas to the point where now we are redefining it when it is between a man and a woman. And sexuality, because the strongest passion is sex, the strongest appetite is food. If you look at 1 Timothy chapter 4, there will be attack on both. Don't eat that. So the last days, satanic spirits will come. Telling us don't eat this food, and telling us even not to marry. Now, if you look at so many ways of satisfying the sexual passion, they don't bring children. From masturbation to what they use the mouth to do and hand to do. These days, it is very difficult to find a guy who wants to have sex with a woman before marrying her. It is a crisis. You see, there was, I can mention the denomination of 14 to 15-year-olds, 60 of them. Not one was a virgin. These are girls. And some were raped and things attacked them by people. They sent me to buy this, and he came and this. A cousin, a nephew, a niece, and some are parents. A number of women who have gone into marriage with children who are girls, their husbands want to have sex with them. So there should be sex education seriously. And I said this on Joy during the broadcast. Our broadcast on Saturdays. There should be serious national crusade to give sex education to young people. I go to the schools, teaching them how to be an excellent wife, excellent mom in the future. So when they are leaving, we give them a certificate to teach them and to guide them and to instruct properly. Then the parenting comes in, as she says. You see, parenting is like discipleship. Decide what to do. We have family meeting once a month. So ideas for action come out of willingness to obey. At a family meeting, you talk about food, cleaning, school, and this, and of course we pray. Don't form a circle. You stand in the middle and tell us what to pray about, including me, and put our hands on you. Whatever you would do creatively with the ideas God has given you, which you use to do business, why you went to university, why you created that, whatever it is, which you use for your ministry, use it for the number one ministry is your home. And so it keeps us together. And then we pray for one another. And the fear of God is built. Don't use family devotion to bribe God. When family devotion power begins with devotion between the mom and the dad in the bedroom. Sometimes you can't see them before the children. And that's where parenting starts. The relationship between the man and the woman. You see, like the new book I wrote, if you want to marry this I'm having as a principle. How are your relationships? Do you get along with people? How do you relate to people? Because it's the highest form of relationship. And it's not successful because of what you get, what you put in. And marriage is not a finished product. I'm expecting. What are you expecting? What are you putting in? You are going to stir this. Now, the spoon for tea is not the spoon for soup. It's not the spoon for the porridge. It's not a spoon. So you are training the child, the girl, to have a spoon, and you must have whatever it is, and you share. You fall in love with the personality, but you live with the character. Now, character is who you are when no one is watching you. So we marry without knowing whom we are marrying. We don't take our time to know and go there as a mission field into the family to be used for different. You go expecting. And if you want to know how people are, it's not what they say and do, what they are not saying and what they are not doing. So people surprises all the divorces and separations. And I want to say the difference between men and women. If you don't know that, you can never meet the needs of men and women.
Hold it for a second. Let me come back to you, Lynda. She's just smiling as she's talking and nodding your head. I'm sure he's saying some very critical things that and again, I like to also bring the science of it, the psychosocial dimension to it, because for many people, they don't even know why they do what they do.
Yes.
So I want to juxtapose, first of all, the causal issues and then also the role of education. So you talk about, he's talking about some of the distortions that we see in the family, some of the proclivities and desires that you're like, how can a man even consider that? I mean, how can a human being consider that? Some time ago, I mean, the society will shout abomination. Today, they say trend.
Yeah.
And you're asking, how did we get here? And what are the psychosocial implications of some of these thought patterns and some of these desires that cannot even be named in a decent conversation like this?
Right. So before I come to that, there's something that Reverend mentioned. He talked about sexuality within the family. From where I sit, usually by the time people would come to me, they would have been experiencing the consequences of the breakdown of the family system.
Mhm.
They would be experiencing outcomes of dysfunction within the family. So many people who were abused during childhood were by people they knew.
Interested.
Not strangers, not people from outside, their cousins, people the family trusted, even parents, like Reverend said. There's this situation where there was a little boy who's, they share seats in class. This is as young as class 1, class 2. The boy who is sitting next to him is getting into his shorts in class. So he's passing the hand through the shorts in class and then he's touching him. This boy is unable to tell anybody within the family. And now, the brain naturally forms what we call paired associations. So if a person pairs a certain experience with a certain emotion, the brain registers it. So if a person experiences pleasure, some form of pleasure, when in a child's mind, pleasure is not very much developed. So whatever a child is experiencing, they take it just as it is. So this child pairs the feeling of excitement with the person who gave them that excitement. So if it is a male, he develops likeness for that feeling, and it's coming from a male.
And he doesn't have the ethical framework
He does not have the ethical framework to process it and understand exactly what is going on. So this person grows up and he says that he's attracted to people of the same sex, and you trace it back. So generational trauma, I always tell my clients that generational trauma or generational curses is not always some family member or somebody standing in some corner and chanting the family's name. Sometimes it's behaviors that have been passed on from generation down to generation that were not dealt with. So if you have a parent who is suffering from, so there's stress within the family, maybe there's poverty, it brings about a lot of psychosocial struggles. So a mother may be experiencing depression. When a mother has depression, it affects how they are able to take care of their children. So you will never get that quality of care from the mother. The child suffers. The child also grows up and they pass it down their generation to their children as well. So you find out that certain traits run through the entire family.
Why is it that they say the thing that you watch and you hate and you vow that this should never be it? Sometimes you end up doing this.
Hyper-focused.
Why? What's that?
When you pay so much attention to something, you try not to do it. In effect, it happens to you. So if you are trying to, so for people who, for example, their mothers were not treated well or their fathers, it's either way. There are fathers who are not treated well in their marriages. So what's common is mothers. So this little girl has a blueprint of how a man should treat her based on what she sees her mother enduring.
But she says it should never happen. She's angry that the father is mistreating the man.
Yes, indirectly, the father does not give the child the love that he's looking for. So they seek it unconsciously. Our minds are always looking for what we need to be complete. So they end up also looking out for men or finding men who are also as unavailable as their father. So the generational curse continues. That's how it works. When you don't want something, you might attract it. because you pay attention to it so much, you may attract it.
This is Springboard, your virtual university. I want life. I want health. I want peace of mind. I want love all around. And I want smiles. Reverend Dr. Kisseadoo is my guest, as well as Lynda Dede Ahulu. They're helping me to understand how we got here, how much threat the family is facing. When we come back from this break, I'm going to ask Lynda, what kinds of issues do families present when they come to seek help? I hear some of those boxes, when they open them, you will run away. We'll open those boxes right on the show. And then, Dr. Kisseadoo, you help us to understand what would make somebody who wears a nice tie and goes to work in a bank behave like somebody who is not in their right mind.
Yeah, some of
Tough conversations, but we must have them. And this is Springboard, your virtual university, brought to you, by the way, by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, which is itself a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Put on your seatbelt. In the second part of this conversation, get ready for an explosion. Please don't go away.
Going to the library. Going to the library.
Okay.
I'm going for my graduation. Go well.
Education changes stories, and being part of these stories is the real passion for us. MTN.
No stress. Submit your insurance claim online in just seconds on the Claims Express portal. Simply upload your national ID, cost estimates, pictures, and more to get started. Submit online, track progress, and get paid fast. Skip the paperwork and get back on the road with ease. Visit claimexpress.enterprisegroup.net.gh for easy claims and quick payouts with absolutely no stress.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, and to this conversation about the family. The question is the family under threat? My guests, Reverend Dr. Samuel Kisseadoo and Lynda Dede Ahulu. Lynda is a clinical psychologist, a licensed clinical psychologist at Kolibu, and Reverend Dr. Kisseadoo is a name we all know from years of service. How many years? Here in Ghana, Fruitful Ministries is 25 years, correct?
Yes, but I became a Christian 56 years ago.
Yes,
so
and you've devoted
I
your
started
life
preaching right in
to
secondary
this.
school. So
Awesome. We'll come to that shortly. But this is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Our partners, the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard, MTN Ghana, and the Enterprise Group. Let me give you an enterprise advantage tip for today, and it's about using transitions services if the funeral is outside Accra. Someone says, can we? And the answer is yes. In any region of Ghana, you can use the services of transitions. Just call them and ask about their smart burial packages, or check it out on their website and you'll find how to get to use their services outside Accra. The number to call 030-263-4777. Email info@myenterprisegroup.io. Enterprise, your advantage. Let me just give some props to a Ghanaian-owned business in these sectors, just to give them some morale to sell more. And today I'm looking at DecoCraft. DecoCraft is for handmade chocolates, customization, and cakes. Just call them on 024-382-7724. That's our corporate social responsibility. Select one business and give them props so they can sell more and do more in their business. Lynda, before the break, I said I'm going to get into the Pandora box.
Yes.
And The reason is simple. As we smile in our cars drive to work, as we meet each other in church and look so good and so nice, as we interact in public spaces, behind the scenes, as a pastor, I see people break down in tears in ways I just, my heart goes out to them. And so I know that what we see in public is not always what it is in private. People seem to be going through some very challenging situations. Tell me, from the clinical point of view, what kinds of situations do people present that make you say the family is not the same as it has always been over the years?
Indeed, Rev, the family is under threat. And by threat, there are certain situations within the family system that is harmful to its survival. And if care is not taken, not only will individual members of the family suffer, the family as a unit will suffer, and by extension, society. So we have cases like depression, where people present with symptoms of sadness. They no longer are interested in the things that they used to do. They may be very, very moody for a very long time. They may have mood swings, among others. There are different causes, so many. And anything that happens to a person that makes them lose touch with their willingness to live life. And sometimes we just mention it as depression, but it can be severe. We've had suicidal cases or suicidal ideations where people are tired of living. I mean, what could make a person tired of living? If somebody is, for example, raped in their family, they feel that life is no longer worth it. If people are struggling financially, people go into marriages with an idea of what they hope to accomplish. If those things don't happen, for example, childbirth, sometimes in those days, it was difficult to establish the genotype of couple. So they end up getting married and then they have a child that is an SS. The family has to deal with this. And it is not easy at all for most parents. And we also have neurodivergence, where the children that may come out of the family may have autism or other forms of. These are not things that we preempt. They happen in the course of the marriage, and people still have to deal with them. Sometimes societal expectations. Do you know that as little as gender of the child can cause a major problem for couple? Yes, many times the man wanted a boy and then they had a girl. This may seem very subtle. This is something that I've seen so many times in practice. So whenever I have the opportunity to talk about it, I do. Men know or should know that the gender of the child is determined by the man, not the woman. I'll repeat it. The gender of the child is determined by the man. The woman has an X. So if you bring a Y, you have an XY, which becomes a boy. If you bring an X, it becomes an XX, which becomes a girl. So it is not your wife that is giving birth to only girls. It is you that is providing only female chromosomes for your wife to bring out. That's one thing that needs to be seen. Also, sometimes the trauma that people go through from their childhood will affect them when they grow up. If you grew up in a home environment where you are always anxious, hey, do this way, especially the parents, and some parents choose what their children should do. So even if your child is good at one thing, parents want their children career-wise. They want them to live their dreams that they couldn't accomplish. Meanwhile, your child has their own dreams. So you make it difficult for that child to live a fulfilling life. And unfortunately, one day you will go and you leave that child with unaccomplished dreams.
And all those are
they have to deal with it forever.
Let me pinch on one thing you just said and find out the implications just so the context can be established. So let me just take the gender issue. So you talk about one parent preferring another gender.
Yes.
For illustration purposes.
Yes.
Let me see, for instance, that the male wants a girl
Yes.
and gets a boy.
Boy.
There's a likelihood that that boy will grow up feeling unloved.
Yes. There's a likelihood that that boy will grow up feeling unloved. And there's a likelihood that it will bring constant conflicts between the couple. You see, the effect, whatever we see within the family, starts from somewhere. The family is individual members before it is a unit. So whatever is affecting each member of the family can affect the unit as a whole.
And very often it's happening and people are unaware.
Yes.
Because they're not trained to spot the symptoms.
Yes.
I'm going to come back to you shortly on the symptoms, what to look out for. Early warning signs that when you see, don't take them for granted. Doc, something that obviously is distorting God's plan for us. Something that is damaging the fabric of what God designed for us to live and enjoy. Why are we at the place where our actions seem to be fighting what God is meant, God meant for it to be, and we don't seem to notice it, or we don't even care about it?
You see, when I was in What's the Girls last 3 weeks, there is a slogan. When I say, what you feed, then they respond, grow. What you starve will die. The problem started when the woman gave the food to the man and lost her submission. Because you were not there when the law was given. And the man made a bigger mistake and took the food and lost his leadership. They were the ones who taught Cain and Abel to worship. They did it so well when they were worshiping, the parents were not there. First thought of murder was in church. So the enemy crafted and used words, because words were used to create. First thing God did, God said, let there be light. And God saw the light was good. Genesis 1, 2, and 3. God said and God saw. He saw he used words. So he brought those words to the woman. So the whole of Christianity and all that we are dealing with, to restore the leadership of men and women to submit to that leadership which we have lost, which God is given through Christ and humility and obedience, and to stop the children from being killers and murderers. 4 things are behind sin: wrongdoing, the stain on your soul, the guilt in your conscience, the punishment from God, and the spirit behind the sin. So people start as if they're joking, they're watching a little porn, they're doing this, they are doing that. Parents watch porn movies, they go to work. You see, and most of these are prostitutes and witches, and you are watching them. So the very idea of pregnancy and the whole idea of sexuality, how the child was brought forth from the marriage bed, spirits enter there. And the way they treat each other, marriage is not a finished product. You cook your own food. They go there just expectation. So parenting is a huge thing. And God made sure that before he came as a child, there was a mother and a father present throughout. Who was a midwife in the stable, in the place? There was no midwife. Joseph, who dealt with the placenta and blood and stuff. No. So parenting, teaching is lacking. You decide what we are to do it for them to see, be by their side to do, leave them to do, then you evaluate and affirm. It's a principle for discipleship. So parenting is discipleship. So people go into marriage only with feelings and emotions and things. Emotions and feelings are wonderful passengers, very bad drivers.
I like that.
And they make it seem the driver's seat driving. You see? And the difference, see, men are creatures of the mind because of leadership. So if you're going to marry a man, going to have a baby, for society to go on and so become presidents and prophets and apostles and all of us, you're going with your mind mentally present in the relationship. Women are emotional. The emotions are attached to the body. So you go to the woman's heart to the mind. If the woman's emotions are not satisfied, forget it. That's why rich people's wife divorce them. They don't understand. You go to a man's mind to the heart, not men don't like it. disrespect. If you disrespect a man, you have destroyed the man. And this must be taught by parents and guardians and whoever they are. It takes a village to train a child, as we are told. Society must embark upon very serious parenting, then very serious premarital counseling and post-marital counseling, which are all not there.
Pause it. 3 things you've said that I must interrogate, and I'll need your help to do that in the limited time that we have. So you talk first of all about being present.
Yes, mentally present.
The woman is a lawyer. The man is a banker. They close at 9 p.m. How are they then present to first be there, and then secondly to do, and thirdly to teach, and fourthly to supervise, and fifthly to transfer the knowledge, competence, capability?
Anything in this world which is important to you, you make the time for it.
How?
You put in your schedule, you plan for it. When you are sick, do you go to work?
I'm asking. How?
So if your marriage is sick and you realize you lack something, adjust something. It's not how long you spend 24 hours in the house. Someone can be home for 30 minutes. Quality time that has meaning. You learn something. You feel you have connected. Someone can be home the whole day and he's on the phone. He's in conversation. He's doing this. The mind is not on. See, if you are not intellectually prepared, you can't be mentally ready. So we must learn.
So you're saying that even for the short time that you have to be physically together, you can improve the quality of the relationship.
With a plan in mind.
How can technology also enable this process? You are away at work. Can we not, in break time, in short times that we have together, augment that with a call, a text, checking up on somebody?
Yes, you're saying it. Text, call, this. When I travel, I did a lot of travel, just have slowed down now. First thing I do, I call my wife. When I enter a hotel, enter a home, I have a paper there. Even now, I came with her. This is my driver's number. These two, a nephew and a niece, you call them, you always find them. Even Joy front desk number is on the wall. If I go to Kumasi, call Capital Radio, call Love FM. If I go here, call this, call that. You put checks and balances in place. The pastor I'm going to is called this. This is the pastor's number. Even the pastor's wife, if you have to. This is the church, the hotel, I'm saying, this is the hotel's number. You can be away in the communication. Look, I come to Ghana, she doesn't come with me. Sometimes I'm here for 3 months, sometimes 4 months. But every day we call each other. When I got sick, I almost died in 2009. She knew something was wrong because I hadn't called the whole day. She says, no, I sense something is wrong.
So, Doctor, I went back to your point about communication.
Yes.
And it can,
communication.
He says 1 whole day, it means it's not well. I mean, it's only 1 month, girlfriend.
Yes. Communication is the life of the relationship. Life means it grows, matures, and bears fruit. It is the blood of the relationship distributing all these warmth and nutrients. It is the currency of the relationship, makes it rich, and it is the tool for trust. The more I know your mind, the more I can trust you. People are having issues in their homes and they can't parent, but they can't do anything because communication, which is the blood, is not the anemic. Let us know what goes on between the two of us.
Let me help you on this point, because I hate when I'm running out of time at a time when it's juiciest, because I need to come back to you on the early warning signals. But Prof, let me stay with you. The third thing you mentioned that I wanted to interrogate, you said, but premarital counseling, postmarital counseling can take care of this. I just want to answer one question. Across board, with very few exceptions, many people see marital counseling, especially, as a requirement that you have put in place before you marry them. But left to them alone, they will not even do it.
They don't understand it's an insurance against future problems. If you see Bank of Ghana, so bank going on a retreat at the weekend, it's not because they don't know how to count money. It is insurance against future problems.
That was really funny.
It is re-emphasis, reiterating and hitting there. That's what Paul says, I'll keep reminding you because it's good for you. Repetition is the mother of learning.
At the point where you are encouraging them to do it, they see it as a burden. But when the need is big, at that point, they say we have time. That point, as Doc said, by the time they come, the situation has already
snowballed into something big. Parents to teach children commitment is a problem.
But what if they themselves don't know?
That is the thing.
That's the thing.
How many people even teach their children time management? I do give at a seminar in school. Students are there, even graduation students say, if I understood this, I would have been getting some of the C's and D's when I was in my first year. Time management. How many parents teach it?
Lynda, let me come to you, Lynda Ahulu. I'm glad my assignment today, my thesis is very simple. Establish the existence of a threat. I know we can never ever solve all the issues in one conversation, but you've given us context about the reality of where we are now. As we wrap up, I want us to go into early warning signals that, because somebody says, if I had known this, but there was a bell. It was ringing weekly, daily, but we were too engrossed to even notice it, or we didn't even know what to look out for. What must we look out for that tells you immediately that there's a problem?
Yes. So first of all, nobody teaches anybody how to parent or what their role will specifically be within a family because of the dynamics and the different kind of family systems that we have. So it's different for every family. You cannot use one family's blueprint directly on another family. You may fail. So every individual family needs to identify and understand the nuances within the family that may affect them. Number one, when there's a breakdown of communication within the family, that's a major sign that there's something wrong. Number two, when there's external influences.
What does it mean?
So external influences meaning that other people have more say within the family than the people who are working to create the family. So the father, people like the mother of the husband.
Okay, so in-laws.
In-laws, yes. In-laws. There are other times when the family becomes overwhelmed and then they need external help. So one other kind of family that I didn't mention earlier is the acquired family. So we have a person's church family, their work family. All of these people come together at certain times to help the person when they are dealing with various struggles. Another thing is family trauma. When you have noticed that certain trends are continuing, it's a threat. You realize that there was something that was happening in your own family that you really were trying hard not to replicate it within yours, but it is happening. That means there's something wrong. You have to nip it in the bud, or else your children will pick it up. When your children cannot communicate with you as a parent, it's a major red flag, and it's an indicator that if you do not take care, your family will not stand. Your children should be able to come home and tell you that, Mommy, Daddy, this is what happened to me today. Mommy, Daddy, there's this particular boy in my class who is always insulting me.
Before you go, this is something I'd like you to take a minute to help us to realize. What must a parent do for the child to be able to even trust them to tell them? Because the child trusts somebody else and tells them. That means they see something there that they don't see in the parent. How can parents make their children trust them and tell them that?
At every stage in a child's life, as they grow up, they are learning something. So when a child begins to crawl, as they move, they are going to touch that. They'll turn back subtle
and look at
the parents to see if they should go ahead. These create a safe haven for the child to learn.
Okay.
So when the child misses these significant stages and the parent is not there to provide that comfort for the child, they never are able to build the confidence to be able to achieve that goal.
I hate scientists. I love you, but I hate you. At what age is that cutoff point where if you haven't built that bond, it's almost like it's...
Interestingly, there's no cutoff point at every stage. So a toddler is learning how to navigate the environment. They are learning about safety. They are learning about security. When a child now begins to go to school at the preschooling, They are learning how to interact with people.
Okay.
They are learning how to build connections
So-
with people around them, friendships, and all of that. Now, as they grow up, let's talk about adolescence. Puberty. Puberty is a significant stage in a child's life. If you miss it as a parent, you risk losing your child in many areas.
Mm.
Your child is building their identity at puberty. So all these changes that are happening, sometimes they do not understand. There needs to be a parent to tell her that or him that this is what is happening.
So ideally, before and during that
Yes.
time, you should be fully present,
Yes.
guiding them.
Parents should be there. That's why you are a parent. You see, when you're ideally, we should have, and I have had these discussions with some of my men in ministry that like Reverend said, the period before marriage is so important. Many people skip the counseling sessions
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah.
In addition to that, even genotype. Genotype is a big deal today.
Yeah.
It is. It can collapse the entire family.
You know what?
Just
one word for family. Just one. What one thing would you tell them? They're running about doing all the things, financial, this, that. Probably
focus.
They should focus.
Yes. I think they should focus on what is important. Because you can do all the other things that are not relevant and miss the salient ones.
And the salient ones will end up affecting all the other
everything else and collapse your family in the end.
Dr. Kisseadoo, what should families think of?
The first thing the man did when the woman came was to give identity to her. She shall be called woman. God didn't give it to him. If you allow God to start the project, the ministry, the business, the position you hold, then ideas for action will come out of the willingness to obey. Your will is surrendered. Even Jesus had to say, surrender the will when he went to pray in the garden. So you consult God in prayer and how to apply his word. See what God is doing and respond appropriately. Discover yourself in Christ. Find your talents, gifts, abilities. But when you come into the marriage, people have died and left even ministry, money, car, business, things for wives who felt only 70% of that man's life. That's what I mean by identity. Let acceptance is something you can feel if you are not fully accepting. So love goes with acceptance. And for love, there are 5 things that show you love somebody. My welfare, what will make me go on? My interest, what makes me happy? Number 3, my need, my welfare. If it's in China, my interest, the manager. My needs, do you hear me? Then number 4 is my rights. Peace, understanding, greeting me, welcoming me when I come from the market, hugging me at the door, do good foreplay for at least one very good love making, a week, not jumping on me like a hawk catching chicken. And you too, the woman, ensuring that you learn how to hug. We are Kwapin people, we Fanti people, we are West, we houses, there, house of marriage, Fanti marriage, we British, it's marriage. Ghanaian women, you are listening, learn how to hug a husband.
That is the note on which I will respectfully, graciously, and gladly bring this exciting conversation to a close. So I know, right? So breakdown of communication as your early warning sign, external influences your early warning sign, family trauma is your early warning sign, and the 4th one is watch out for the time when your children no longer tell you the things that bother them. They're telling somebody else, and when that box is opened, you'll be so scared what you see inside. The voice of Lynda Dede Ahulu, clinical psychologist, licensed at the College Teaching Hospital, helping us to at least know what to look for when there's danger coming. The thoughts of Reverend Dr. Kisseadoo of my welfare, my interest, my needs, my rights, and my opinions.
When they need help.
Let me give each of you a minute to sign off.
Thank you. Psychological stress can impact everybody in many ways. And sometimes it becomes overwhelming and people cannot handle them on their own. There is nothing wrong with seeking help.
Absolutely.
There is nothing wrong with seeking help. So please seek help when you are overwhelmed.
Where should they go?
Every general hospital has a clinical psychology unit. I am at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and it's a very welcoming, beautiful environment where you feel safe and warm.
Doc, let's sign off with your new book. What did you write about and why? In a minute.
Importance of relationships. Because we're even relating right now. I'm relating to these people. They're relating to Electricity Corporation. Relationship. It started between an adult male and God. So men are leaders of a relationship. A relationship, without it, there's no God. It takes Father, Son, Holy Spirit to relate before you have God. God is all about relationships.
On which note, I want to say thank you, as I've been instructed to do. But I want to say a big thank you to you, Dr. Samuel Kisseadoo, and congratulations on your book. Congratulations on.
Yeah, if you want copy, go to Challenge Bookstore or call 020-812-6533. My personal number is 0276 322 982.
Thank you very much. Thank you to you, Lynda Dede Ahulu, for making time. Let's do this again. Let's do this again, especially as we explore how to build quality, lasting relationships and families that have the gravitas to survive all the onslaught that we are facing from all sides. So that was the Genesis and the Exodus. We did not get to the Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, but I promise we'll be back at this subject of relationships and we'll explore a bit more how we can build resilient, quality, beautiful families that will fulfill the mandate that God gave us. My name is Albert Okran. On behalf of the Springboard Ratio Foundation, our partners MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Massacre Foundation and Springboard, and our media partners Joy FM, Joy News, the Springboard Channel, and the Graphic Communications Group. My name is Albert saying, God bless you, and God bless you.